Welcome back. You know what time it is. Fan in the Van podcast time.
You know.
All right, so we were going to do this tomorrow, but such a nice Saturday. I get out of work relatively early, so yeah, it's hot as balls out here, but we got to do it. We got to provide the entertainment to the people. And
there's a few funny things.
We got to give the people what they want. Very interesting week in basketball, baseball, hockey. Football, not so much, because this is like the downtime of it.
Yeah.
So we got to before we get into the playoffs, we got to get into the Boston Celtics situation first. I really wouldn't call it a situation until Stephen A. Smith spoke. And Danny Ainge retired as like president of basketball operations.
Yep.
So they immediately announced that Brad Stevens, the guy who couldn't coach the Celtics to a round one victory over the Brooklyn Nets, who now are the most hated team in the NBA by people. I don't know why. I mean, you're mad because Brooklyn got it right this time and not like 10 plus years ago with Rondo, Garnett, and friggin' Paul Pierce. Okay, whatever. You're just mad because if you're a Sixers fan, they didn't trade Ben Simmons to get James Harden. Okay, I could give two shits less. Don't hate on a team because they got it right and you can't beat them.
They're basically, to me, unstoppable.
So Stephen A. Smith was on, was it Get Up or whatever it is? And it's him, Max Kellerman, and Kendrick Perkins was a guest on it.
Yeah.
So Stephen A. Smith goes off about how do you just immediately take Brad Stevens and make him the president of basketball operations when you didn't even go out and search for like a minority candidate, and there's countless candidates from basketball operations to head coaches. Sam Cassell's one that he mentioned would make a great coach. Chauncey Billups would be great in the front office somewhere. Hell, even a guy like Chris Webber, Grant Hill, Jalen Rose, anybody.
Billups, I think got a shot, but they didn't.
Okay, even if they were to even interview Isaiah Thomas, which would ruin your team anyway.
I know that motherfucker.
But everything Stephen A. Smith said, and he brought up George Floyd, and how the knee on the back of the neck symbolizes not only just what happened that day, but in general what's been happening to minorities for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Exactly.
And so I posted it on Twitter, and somebody said, why would you agree with what he said? You're white. It doesn't matter what friggin' color you are. You could be black, white, green, purple. I don't give a shit. Okay? Stephen A. Smith was right in everything he said, and Max Kellerman sat there with this blank stare as if like he was as if he was offended by anything that Stephen A. Smith said. So Stephen A. Smith excused himself from the set because had he gone on, he was getting fired.
Yeah,
he was getting fired.
He was gonna throw names out. He didn't even.
So
it was basically like the players didn't step up. And
well, that's the thing. He's saying, look in the NFL, you have minority players speaking up. Look in baseball, you have minority players speaking up. But in basketball, what he's pretty much saying is that these guys are making all this money and they're worried about their own brands as opposed to their own races.
Exactly. Yep.
Listen, I get it. But at the end of the day, like, take case in point the NFL, the Rooney Rule. Does it really even work? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Because, like, one of the coordinators on the Eagles, he's Oriental, right? And he went for a head coaching position. I don't know if it was within the NFL or if it was in college football, whatever it was. And they told me he's not the right minority. What friggin' minority do you have to be? A minority is a minority is a minority.
Minority? What the fuck? The way I see it, man, you get shot, I get shot. We bleed the same way. No matter what color you are.
I don't care what color you are. I put my pants on one leg at a time like every other motherfucker out there. So I don't give a shit.
Back into sports, though. Back into fucking...
So then you got the first round games. Listen, I'm going to talk about the Knicks-Hawks first of all. Trae Young did his thing as much as I can't stand him. He did his thing, and then in Game 5, he
obliterated.
He sits there at the end of the game and he bows. And they asked him why did he do it. And he said, I've been to New York. I know what they do at the end of a play, at the end of a show. He goes, I put on a performance. I have to bow. Okay. You know what, though? You couldn't stop him.
Hey, Dwight Howard came out and had something to say to him, too. He was like, yo, don't be coming here starting that stuff.
Oh, well, if you think the Knicks fans were ruthless on Trae Young, Philly fans are going to be far worse. They may even throw dog shit at this guy.
Yeah, I don't think Dwight Howard just pop him right on top of the head.
And The Sixers are going into this round
Yeah, I know.
not fully healthy because Embiid went down in like game 5.
They still managed to pull it off, though.
And, they came back game 6. They beat the Wizards. And listen, Bradley Beal says he's not worried. He ain't going nowhere. He's staying in Washington. Between him and Westbrook, go to contenders go to teams that actually care about winning. The Wizards don't. Listen, they really don't care about winning.
You got
all right?
Russell Westbrook basically put up a triple-double
Every
other game, basically, yeah.
And, but like with the Knicks situation, because a lot of Knicks fans, they're pissed off. And
I'm not really...
And, I agree and disagree with it to the standpoint of the Knicks overachieved this year. From an outsider looking in, the Knicks overachieved. They weren't projected to make the playoffs. Julius Randle wasn't projected to be the most improved player. RJ Barrett looked like from last season to this season, he was just going to be a former shell of himself. Mm-hmm. And, the Knicks, listen, 4th place, first round in the playoffs. It's a step in the right direction with this new regime that they have. Now,
it could have went the opposite way if Randall would have not showed up, but
if Randall had shown up in these playoffs,
it would have been. I think it would have been different.
Okay. It's almost like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones came in there with neuralizers and neuralized him, and he forgot what he was even friggin' doing or where he was.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, for every single game, it's like he got neuralized before every game, and the rumors are spreading now that. It's like in Portland. Portland fired their coach today.
Yep, I heard that.
And Dame Lillard's already out there saying they want Jason Kidd to be the head coach.
Okay, guys.
Okay. It's not that it's... Okay. Is Portland going to do this every 2 years? Or are they going to realize that they're a piece away? Or are they going to realize that maybe this team is just built of shortcomings and trade Dame Lillard off and just get draft picks? And the team that should go after Dame Lillard is the New York Knicks. Okay? Now, you're going to have to package it with RJ Barrett.
I wouldn't mind that.
Or it would be RJ Barrett, 2 first-rounders, and probably a second-rounder in the draft. Okay? And they would all be for this draft coming up. That's the only way it's going to work.
What about RJ Barrett, Mitch Robinson, and...
The other thing is if you don't want to trade RJ Barrett, how you could also package this is, since you're not utilizing them, is you take Mitch Robinson, Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, a first-rounder, 2 second-rounders for Dame Lillard. That, I think, gets it done.
So...
It's a lot.
2 second-rounders?
It's a lot, but you're not giving up RJ Barrett.
You're right.
And then you would have the Knicks would have a decent
we
big
would also
three.
need a center, but whatever.
Well,
Get that in.
you could get that, and you get that in free agency.
Yep.
And
Chris Paul wants out of Phoenix, though.
I don't know why Chris Paul wants out of Phoenix.
I don't know why
They're in
either.
the second round. They beat the Lakers.
He wants out of their contract.
They beat the Lakers. And listen, as far as I'm concerned, with the Lakers, okay, and I was talking with this guy on Facebook, Trust the Grind, right? And because I posted, I don't want to hear about LeBron being the GOAT. AD didn't play for Game 5, okay? He was ruled out, groin injury. And LeBron didn't show up.
No,
okay?
he was too busy bitching at the officials.
Okay.
Too busy.
And everybody who has sat here for every Jordan LeBron debate, who's ever wanted to have with me that said he would last and survive in the tougher era of the NBA, go watch when he's running up and down the court whining like Fran Drescher in the friggin' Nanny, okay? Because all he does is, he touched me, where?
He played no defense at all.
Worry about the game, worry about scoring, put the team on your back, grow a pair of balls, because everybody's sitting there saying that he's better than Kobe and he's better than friggin' Jordan. He can't touch his royal airness, and he's nowhere near Mamba mentality, okay? He's like Mamba mentality on a period. He's a whiny little bitch, okay? And I can't. Stop with the LeBron's the greatest of all time, because in Game 6, Devin Booker went off in the first quarter. Yeah, like 22 to 25 points, like 6-7 threes at one point. And what annoys me with NBA officiating is this. So LeBron James could salsa all over the court like he's Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
Jay Crowder does it, gets ejected, and they call it taunting.
Well, Jay Crowder, I think, came out on Twitter and stabbed fired back LeBron, too.
Well, yeah, because LeBron's whining and crying all the time.
Oh, and that so-called apparent injury just popped up.
Oh, yeah, and then, the Lakers can't win the first round because LeBron is injured. And then you got to explain this to me. So somebody needs to explain this to me within the Laker organization. Anthony Davis has a groin injury that doesn't heal right away.
Why we throw him out
So
there?
you test him out before Game 6, and he looks like he's fine. Chris Paul and Devin Booker, knowing this, make him do things he's uncomfortable doing.
It's common,
and he literally played for 5.5 minutes, and then he was out the rest of the game. Okay? Now, if LeBron was as great as all you LeBron nut lovers
He would have.
claim for him to be, he would have took this team on his back and carried them. He would have carried them.
Hey man,
Out of the
if he would
first
have had the
round.
flu like Jordan did, I can understand. But Jordan had the flu put up what 40 plus. Come on, he cat dragged off the court.
And then, for all those who just say that LeBron's better, just look at the NBA Finals record alone. 6-0 to 4-6. That's all I got to say. The only thing LeBron had on Jordan was 15 straight years and no first round exits in the playoffs. So
Until
guess
this
what?
one.
That happened. That's like called karma, and that's a bitch. Okay?
Depends on how you treat her, though,
And,
you know.
speaking of Portland, I was really rooting for them to pull through. But,
Yeah.
well, again, they're a piece or two away from being that team. And, you know, Denver now has to be taken seriously, though. They have to be taken seriously. To do what they did against Portland is major credit. And the Clippers
I told you, I'm like, don't sleep on Denver, bro.
and the Clippers Dallas Maverick one. I told everybody it would go 7 games. And Kawhi Leonard went off last night, like
40 plus.
how LeBron should have went off in Game 5 and Game 6, but he was too busy again whining to the officials and me.
Shut down Luka Doncic.
All right.
Shut him down, basically.
I still have Dallas winning the series. Okay, so then Dallas would go and play Utah. Which, listen, Memphis gave it what they could. Again, they overachieved this year too.
It is what it
We're
is.
winning two playing games to even get into the playoffs. You got to give Memphis credit for that. So a lot of people are saying that your NBA Finals setup is going to be Nets Phoenix.
No.
No, because the way I see it is this, and I have it written down. So you got Utah, Dallas wins. It'll be Utah versus Dallas, Denver versus Phoenix.
Utah wins that one.
Utah's going to beat Dallas, but it'll go 7. Denver's going to beat Phoenix because Chris Paul's playing hurt. Okay, so you'll have Utah versus Denver in the Western Conference Championship, and I have Utah going to the finals. And on the East,
This would be the opposite.
on the East, you're going to have the Nets versus the Bucks, which
That's gonna go 6.
Which I give it 6, and I give Milwaukee a win in Game 2,
And then win in
and a win in Game 5
5.
in Milwaukee.
No, Game 4 will be Milwaukee.
Well, oh yeah. So Game 4, I'll give them Game 4 in Milwaukee, and Game 2, I'll give them the even number games
Yep.
home and away and home. Okay. Then you have Sixers versus the Hawks. If Embiid's healthy by Game 1, I think this goes 7, but Philly's gonna pull this one out.
And if Trey Young thinks to drive the lane against Mr. Howard,
And then
Yeah,
you're
bro.
gonna have Philly's big 3 versus Brooklyn's big 3. And I'm sorry,
Brooklyn's big 3.
Brooklyn's big 3 is just better.
Offensively, definitely better.
It's just better.
Offensively, yes, definitely better.
And the only issue you're going to have is containing Embiid. But again, if Embiid's not healthy throughout the rest of this playoffs, sorry, Philly's not touching the NBA Finals. So then it would be Brooklyn versus Utah in the finals, and Brooklyn wins it all. And even in that
Oh, yeah,
series, and this is what Brooklyn needs to focus on in the offseason, you got to get a big-time center. Utah's got that in Rudy Gobert, and
Yeah.
Philly has that in
in
Joel Embiid.
Yep.
And for all intents and purposes, Denver's got that in Jokic.
Yes, yeah, he does.
So the further Brooklyn goes, they'll have the advantage at every other position but the 5. Because DeAndre Jordan's not the answer. Claxton's good, but he's built like a beanstalk. He doesn't really have a lot of muscle on him, and he's going to get pushed around the paint by Embiid, and then they go to the finals, he's going to get pushed around by Gobert. You can't put Durant on him. Durant's built like a string bean, too.
Yeah, but you offensively, man, those 3. I mean,
I mean,
behind the arc all day
it
long,
would be
those
interesting if you had Phoenix versus Brooklyn.
that'd be-
Because
yeah.
Devin Booker is Phoenix's version of Kyrie.
Kyrie would just break Chris Paul's ankle.
Chris Paul is like the James Harden because he's the one who's pretty much controlling
Yeah,
everything.
good point.
And Jay Crowder, for all intents and purposes, is their Durant.
And
But
Durant's
then they have a decent 5 in Ayton. So
Hey,
it gets harder for Brooklyn, but Brooklyn can. Have you seen what Brooklyn did when their backs were against the wall in
see
certain
what Kyrie
games,
did
on
in
demand and
Cleveland-
everything?
In Cleveland,
That's all I'm going to tell you right now. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. Game 7, game's on the line. even though Kyrie said, I got 2 other people I could pass the ball to hit a game-winning shot.
He's gonna bang it.
If I had to put all the money in the world on who would take it, it's Kyrie, because he's been there and done it.
And I want him to take it.
And it's gonna. Listen, the NBA playoffs have already been interesting. We've already had great games, and it's just going to continue, in my opinion. I don't think you're not going to see blowouts other than what you've seen the past 2 games with the Suns and the Lakers. And I'm sorry, Lakers fans, but that's on LeBron.
That is on LeBron.
And everybody said that they would repeat as champions. Well, I don't see how, when you downgraded at every position, when you let JaVale McGee go, and you let friggin' all the key pieces from that championship team, and a lot of people saying technically that you shouldn't even count that as an NBA championship, and there should be an asterisk because the season was paused and then restarted, because then you had to play. They finished the rest of the season. They did the play-in games. I still count it as a championship because they finished the season.
Well, in baseball, that no-hitter has an ash next to it.
Okay. So, but when you downgrade at every position, you're not... And then you went and got Dennis Schroeder. Not a big improvement.
No.
You have Wesley Matthews coming off the bench.
Who the fuck is that?
He's a scrub. Okay. You have Caldwell Pope. He's trash. Alex Caruso off the bench
good.
Isn't bad.
I like him.
But none of that would scare you if the Lakers moved on. Even if they did move on, you wouldn't have had Anthony Davis for game 1 against Denver. And guess what? Denver takes game 1.
LeBron can't show up without.
And then LeBron's got to make this dumb joke. Oh, I think we're going to play for the Toon Squad instead of the Olympics. And a lot of people factor this into. And it's not just LeBron.
He's trying to be Jordan.
It's the whole NBA.
He's trying to immaculate that guy.
So in the NBA, after last year's championship, it was literally a 2 to 3 month turnaround, and they started the season.
Yeah.
When this season ends, you're going to have the Olympics that then goes into the season again. Yeah. So in a matter of 2 years, they'll have had maybe a 5-month break combined. For everybody who
That's exhausting, bro.
For everybody who says, oh, all they do is run and jump and shoot and dribble, that takes a toll on you. You're exerting a lot of energy to run up the court, dribble a ball, put a shot up, play defense. I've played basketball. Trust me, you exert a lot of energy.
You're damn right you do.
But again, I hate to toot my own horn here, but who predicted that Brooklyn would go 5? And I gave Boston 1 win in Boston. Just saying.
You did, but whatever.
I did.
I still think the Nets are going to take it all, man. They're scary, bro.
It's just...
I was just watching them play.
They just don't... Between Kyrie, KD, and Harden, they just know how to dissect your defense. And with Blake Griffin coming off the bench, well, they're not going to have Jeff Green now because I think he's out with a plantar fasciitis, which is hit or miss. He could either be in for game 2 or he could be out the rest of the playoffs. Nobody knows. But I wouldn't rush Jeff Green back because we have a decent bench that is gonna. They'll help out basically. They'll take care of it.
But you got fucking Harden giving him like 10, 11 assists a game.
Well, he's pretty much putting up triple doubles.
Yep.
And
stop that. Go ahead.
And everybody's sitting here and complaining about the officiating in the NBA. Listen, I get it. It's horrible, but it ain't as horrible as what's going on in the MLB right now.
Oh my God, man! I'm talking about a foot out of the strike zone.
So last night, it's Mets Padres, right? James McCann's at the plate. And listen, I'm going to explain to you guys this. The strike zone is the strike zone.
When the
no matter where you stand in the batter's box. Whether you stand in the corner, literally an inch away from being out of the batter's box, or right on top of the plate. The strike zone is the strike zone is the strike zone. So, James McCann's up the plate. Ball inside like this. Strike 3. McCann's a catcher.
I know.
Who knows the strike zone better than a catcher who's batting? So McCann says something to the umpire. Pretty much told him he sucks, whatever, just to paraphrase. He gets ejected. Luis Rojas comes out. He's got some choice words. He's ejected.
Wow, okay.
In the Yankees-Rays game, which I'm not going to blame umpiring on the fact that the Yankees ain't hitting, ain't scoring, can't run the bases correctly, can't do anything right now.
Can't do shit, actually. Besides DJ Mason.
So it's Garrett Cole pitching and Ryan Yarbrough. Ryan Yarbrough is getting all the favorable calls, and Garrett Cole is getting nothing.
Shit, exactly.
When does this end? When does this end? When does
At the end of the
when does
season?
Rob Manfred come out and say, because this is going to lead into the next thing that utterly annoys me. Okay, when's he going to come out and speak to the media, like how the players are forced to speak to the media? Because I forget her name in tennis, got fined for not speaking to the media, and it raises an interesting debate.
Why the players is come
Why
out?
should they be forced to speak to the media? Why? If they don't want to speak to the media after a loss, leave it be.
True.
It should be your option to speak to the media. You don't owe me or anybody else an explanation whether it's a victory or a loss. We already know. If you lost, we're watching the game. We don't need to hear you say it. We already know you played like crap. So we already know
What do you think
this.
happened out there? We
Okay.
suck.
All right. But the issue is, if players are forced to speak to the media after a bad game, and then they criticize the officiating, whether it's in the NBA, MLB, NFL,
The officials
or the
should be allowed
NHL,
to talk to media.
why aren't the officials in any of these sports ever interviewed after the game to why was the strike zone absolutely atrocious? They
exactly.
don't. It boggles my mind to why they're not held accountable. It's almost like, a player gets fined for criticizing the officiating. But the official doesn't get held accountable for bad calls.
Supposedly they get graded at the end of each season.
They get who's grading them?
Who the fuck knows? That's the issue.
Friggin' Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles.
Stevie Wonder might be doing it.
They can't see shit. I think Stevie Wonder's friggin' umpiring these games because the umpiring is again
it's bad, bro.
it's absolutely horrible. I can't for the life of me understand how Rob Manfred sits there as the MLB commissioner. And he's sitting there going, "Oh, you guys are doing a great job." No, you're not.
And he's watching this shit. It's like,
Why is it that I, sitting at home, can umpire a better game from the couch than the umpire standing literally teabagging the catcher?
basically teabagging him, yeah.
And the umpires get more annoyed like when a pitcher shows them up when they know it's a strike. And they call it a ball, and the catcher's sitting there holding it for like those extra 2 to 3 seconds, and he looks up like, you gonna call this a strike or what? And they don't. And it's like, man, here we go. We already know it. We already know the tone of this game now.
You ever seen Juan Soto staring down with Zach Wheeler when he hit that home run off him yesterday? All the way around the bases, down the first base line.
I'm surprised he didn't get ejected for
Boom,
taunting.
yo, stepped on the bag, stepped on home plate, back to his bench, staring at him. Because Wheeler came out and said
listen,
he can't hit a
these
ball.
younger
home run.
guys like a Soto and a Tatis, they better be careful because they're going to do that to the wrong guy. And the Chicago White Sox, for a lot of people that don't know this, Tatis was involved in that trade when the White Sox got James Shields.
Okay.
When James Shields was literally trash at this point. James Shields was decent with the Rays, and then that's where his big name came into play, and then he got bounced around. If you're the White Sox and you have Tim Anderson, and you have this Elroy kid, and you have a decent pitching staff, imagine if you had Tatis on the team too. The Chicago White Sox are in first place in the AL Central, but they're not because they traded Tatis, and look what Tatis is doing. I like Tatis' style of play. He's young, he's gritty, he's talented as shit, and yeah, you don't like his cockiness or his arrogance, but you know what though?
He can be cocky.
Then
that
strike him.
good.
Then
He's that
strike
good.
him out.
He's that good.
Throw him out when he steals a base.
He's got the most home runs in the league right now.
Do something.
At
Well,
17, I think.
Do something.
Or tied to
do
17
something to
with
stop
somebody.
him. Same thing with like a Ronald Acuna Jr. in Atlanta. You don't like it? Stop him.
Exactly.
You know, same thing like if Gary Sanchez was actually hitting and was getting cocky. Stop him. Same thing if LeMahieu was hitting. Stop him. Same thing if Judge was hitting. Stop him. And for the life of me, Clint Frazier, stop diving for balls that don't need to be, that could be catched without
Yo,
diving. What are you doing?
He wants
what
me
are you
to
doing?
highlight,
Are
yo.
you a stunt double? Are we filming Mission Impossible 455? No, we're friggin' not. Play the game of baseball. You don't have to dive like a friggin' acrobat out there and do friggin' or whatever that shit, parkour, friggin' leaping buildings and doing whatever to catch a fly
That
ball.
one thing was not even out
Come
that
on.
far at all, bro.
A catch like that could either make or break a game.
Yeah, because you could easily get injured.
And
Easily.
well,
DJ at first base has been
well,
nasty.
now they just brought up somebody else, this Chris Gittens, who plays first base in the Yankees minor league, who apparently has a lot of power in his bat. And I think he's going to play tonight against the Red Sox. And this was a week where the Yankees
had to get it right.
They
bro.
had to sweep the Rays and they had to sweep the Red Sox to move up the ladder
Baltimore
so far.
Got a 3-game winning streak too.
To move up so far to take over first place, and they're not doing it.
We're fucked.
And Aaron Boone, you can come out there every night and say, yeah, we're going to work on this, we're going to work on that. What are you working on? Because I've seen nothing improve.
There's no rump support whatsoever, bro.
There's
none.
There's no improvement.
Aaron Judge is the only one who's actually doing anything, honestly.
And now, and Aaron Boone was even iffy at putting him at center because he has to run around just as much in center field as he does in right field. And what they're trying to do to keep Judge healthy is not have him play the field every day. But if you're going to put Clint Frazier in the field, that's an insurance liability there too. Especially you just if I'm Aaron Boone, if I'm Aaron Boone, I'm taking him down the tunnel and I'm bashing him in the back of the friggin' knee. You ain't gonna dive then. You're not gonna dive then.
I can't wait to see him dive for a foul ball.
He dives for a foul ball, I'm telling you right now. I'm driving to the Bronx and I'm punching him dead in his ginger face. I am beyond.
Nah, but for the Yankees guys out fucking hitting, doing something, hitting like.
They really do. I can't.
It's like in the 6th inning yesterday. Who was it? I think DJ walked. Stan hit him to double play. Right after that, Judge hits a solo home run.
Yeah.
Kind of wish that was a 2-run homer if that double play didn't happen. Then we got 2 more hits after that, 1st and 3rd, and boom, can't capitalize on that at all.
No.
At all. That easily could have been 5-4 in the 6th easily, bro.
But you know they do all that. Listen, I don't know, and a lot of people on Twitter, like Yankee fans that I follow, and they're like, who needs to be held accountable? The players, Boone, Cashman, or the ownership? It's a simple answer. It's D. All of the motherfucking above. Because, well, regardless, okay, all the above, okay? And a lot of people saying at the end of the year, if the Yankees don't even touch the playoffs, Boone should be fired. And,
because shit runs downhill, be honest.
And like in any other sport, we've seen it everywhere, the coach is the first one to go. And speaking of coaching, we got to jump back into the NBA in a minute or so with college basketball involved, because it involves one of the greatest college coaches of all time and what's happening this year in college basketball and where I think he winds up in the NBA if this goes. But as far as the Yankees go, though, they're all accountable. Because ownership's not letting Cashman spend the money to get the players they need. Cashman is handcuffed, so he's relying on Boone to have these players perform to a level that they should be performing at. And with the players we have and the farm system we have, we should be in first place, but we're not. They're not hitting. They're not doing a damn thing. It's disgusting.
Not a lot of it, but some of it has to do with
umpiring does take effect into it, but it's not the ultimate excuse.
You have 10 hits in one run.
And people can sit there and listen and watch later, and then go, "Oh, there they go again." And talking about how umpiring is the only reason the Yankees lose. Wait. Listen to the words coming out of our mouths, please. Okay, for those who listen, that actually acknowledge that we know what we're talking about, because believe it or not, we do get some stellar reviews. Okay? Whether you believe it or not, I could care less. I don't do this for anybody else's appeasement but my own.
Exactly.
Okay? And when I speak on something, it's from here. And when I bash my team, it's from here. And for those who say I never bash my team, take note now. The Yankees are playing like the friggin' late 90s Mets. Actually, the early 90s Mets. They're playing like crap. Okay, they're playing like crap. They don't know whether they're coming or going.
Embarrassing.
And Aaron Boone needs to be held accountable, because you can come out there after every loss and say all the right things.
I know.
Okay, but you know what? Eventually, the record gets broken. And it's already broken. Okay, I can't.
I can't.
But
I don't know, man.
Before I get more agitated with it, so
got pull Stephen A. Smith, this motherfucker.
Yeah. The difference is I won't get fired for what I would say, because I'm not on ESPN, and if I was, shit, trust me, everybody's IQ up and that bitch would go right up. Okay? So, Mike Krzyzewski, legendary Duke coach, announces the other day how convenient this is. This all ties in with the Celtics. So he announces that he's retiring at the
Kendrick
end of the
Perkins.
2021-22 season. Okay? So, on the same day that Boston announces that they're looking for a new head coach, after they move Brad Stevens up and Ainge lets himself out the door, as Ainge should, because he sucks. And not as a player, but as operations of basketball, he's trash. I don't care what anybody says. He's a piece of shit. And apparently he's a racist too, from what I've heard. So, Mike Krzyzewski's going to coach his last season at Duke this year. So, and I was telling Scott how I think whoever they put in Boston is just a lame duck coach for Krzyzewski to come in and take over. Take over. He's saying he's not going to do it, but we've all heard these coaches say that before. You know, oh, I'm retiring, and then all of a sudden Boston's going to offer Krzyzewski a big deal, and he's going to go.
I heard Kendrick Perkins might want to coach too.
But that's the thing. You want to fix the situation, and like what Stephen A. Smith said the other day,
You
put
hire
in a
Kendrick.
minority coach.
Yep.
Put in a Chauncey Billups. How about a Rip Hamilton? How about an Allen Houston?
Oh, my favorite player, number 20, baby.
How about guy who coached Georgetown into the NCAA playoffs this year? What's his name? Wore 33 for the Knicks.
Patrick Ewing, is that him?
Why don't you get Patrick Ewing a shot in the NBA as a coach, not as an assistant?
His
There's
jersey's hanging in the garden. You can see him every time you go there.
Yeah. Give him a chance. How about a Charles Oakley? How about a Barkley? Why not a Shaq? Hey, how about a Penny Hardaway? Who's a pretty decent college coach. If Kobe was alive, Kobe would be the perfect choice to coach the Celtics.
Oh my God, bro.
But could you imagine a Laker coaching the Celtics? I don't think he would get blasted for that.
Yo, imagine Kobe coaching the Lakers with LeBron on that bitch.
Oh, he'd bench LeBron for being a bitch.
Exactly, yo.
He'd be like, don't. God. And Kobe's got to be looking down at LeBron
and shaking his
head like, you really want to play like your Mamba mentality?
You really think you're gonna be Michael Jordan?
You playing like Mamba Menstrual? Don't even after you listen or after you watch the videos, don't at me about anything, because at this point, I'm not afraid. Never been afraid to shut people down. And it's funny because the guy I was talking to about all this on Facebook, Trust the Grind, right? Agreed with me. He says, finally, the truth has come to light about LeBron. The truth's always been there. You've all been blinded by it. Well, guess what? Like how, and people don't like Trump, okay? But Trump opened up a certain door, like how in professional wrestling, there's this thing called the forbidden door that should never be opened. And people always ask, what is it? Well, taking point 95 at the Garden with Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and X-Pac when they all hugged in the ring, and that was Hall and Nash's departure. That was the forbidden door that shouldn't be open. Trump opened the forbidden door in politics to certain things nobody should have ever known or seen, or heard for that matter. Like, case in point, gas prices. Me and Scott were talking about this last night. And Scott made an interesting point. You notice how when the Republicans are in office, right, gas prices are down. But when Democrats are in, gas companies raise it to show you that Democrats can't handle shit. Not to get political, but I'm just saying. The truth with LeBron, the door has been opened by so many people that how do you ignore it now? How do you ignore it? How do you ignore a guy who people want to debate? That him and Jordan, and I said it, and I said it on Facebook. I said it to people at work, and I say it all the time. You can't have a Jordan LeBron debate ever at this point.
You can't even have them in the same sentence now anymore.
You can't have it anymore.
You can't.
Okay, and you can say, well, LeBron's getting older now. Okay, I don't care.
Give a fuck.
I don't care, because guess what? The topic isn't who's the greatest of all time, Jordan, LeBron. It's Jordan, Kobe. That's the debate. Okay, pretty much after this playoff performance, LeBron pretty much solidified the fact that he is nowhere near their level. You want to be near their level, you got to kick it up to a different level that you've never known you can go.
I don't think he's got enough time.
And he don't have it.
Nope, he don't got enough time. He could go do his Space Jam 2 that ain't nobody gonna fucking watch.
Nah, I ain't going to see that. That could come out the same day as Fast 9. I'm going to see Fast 9.
Can't believe that shit's trying to...
I got to go see Flying Cars and Toretto Save the World again.
Again.
All right? Because, and it's funny, because John Cena's in this movie, right?
Yeah.
How's anybody going to see him? Because he goes around and goes, you can't see me. So he's fighting in his visible brother? Just to make a corny ass joke, really wasn't.
I tried laughing for you, buddy.
Whatever. Laugh at it, don't. I really don't care. It was stupid. Whatever. So, you know.
Islanders Bruins tonight.
Yeah, then you got, and in the NHL, you got Islanders Bruins. And
it was stressful, that loss. Stressful.
And the hit in the, what was it, the Winnipeg, the Canadian game?
Yeah.
After watching it from so many different, I was watching Boomer and Geo yesterday, right? Because since I got the DirecTV app on my phone, at work I could watch Boomer and Geo on the phone.
Oh, when he hit his face
so
against the glass,
Boomer
right?
Esiason, he's an old school sports guy. And he said he sees nothing wrong with the hit.
It depends on what angle you see it from.
It depends how you look at how hockey should be played. If you look at it as it's a physical sport and this is what it is, then it's not a dirty hit. But at the fact that it was an empty net, they pretty much had the game solidified at this point.
And they
why do it?
He took a, what was it? Shoulder, elbow, a forearm to it.
I think it was shoulder to head.
Yeah, right to his fucking. Laid him out.
To me, if you ask me,
he wasn't going for the puck either. Like
if he was going for the puck and it was incidental, and then he got suspended the 4 games, I could understand the argument. But let's call it what it is. Like in the NFL, like in college football, it was targeting.
It was. Oh hell yeah!
It was targeting.
Hell yeah!
And the 4-game suspension, I don't think is enough. And the reason why they did this, okay, go back to Rangers Capitals with Tom Wilson, all the dirty hits he had, not only against the Rangers throughout the year, but the Penguins and every other team they played, right? So the Rangers play the Capitals in Washington, and there was all these dirty hits. The game gets, so they play back-to-back, and now they're playing in the Garden. And literally when the puck drops, the gloves dropped. So the NHL decided now they decide. This is how stupid the safety committee is in the NHL. They decide now, okay, well, we're going to make this guy the example. No, you should have made that douchebag, Tom Wilson, the example when that bullshit happened. And he should have been made the example all year long. These guys in the NHL safety committee are clueless, just like Manfred is clueless in MLB, just like the umpiring is clueless in MLB. And the only one who seems to have anything somewhat in control is Adam Silver in the NBA. Because Roger Goodell ain't got it right in the NFL either.
Roger Goodell, man.
Okay, because look at the NFL officiating. Oh, I'll tell you now, if you thought last season was bad,
I don't even fucking want it.
This season's gonna be far worse. And if I have to hear, oh well, Aaron Donald gets double teamed, go watch TJ Watt, you stupid, mindless. Oh, I can't. But to get off. So I think tonight is Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I think.
What, pay-per-view?
No.
If it is, I'm about to go order that shit right now real quick before it fucking runs out.
No, I think you could. I'm not gonna say it, but I think there's a way you could watch it for free. But I'm not gonna say how because I'm not sure if I'm correct in it. So I'm not gonna start spreading rumors out there. Like I've heard some rumors at my job today about some certain.
Well, I just wanted to see him get
certain things. So they're showing videos of them, like the whole build up and everything. So they're showing them training, and Floyd Mayweather is. He pretty much says, I don't need any more than 8 rounds. He's pretty much knocking his bitch out.
Yep.
Okay?
I'm going to teach you a lesson.
All right?
That's what he said.
Do you realize before this fight, Floyd Mayweather's already made $30 million? He doesn't even need to fight this fight and walk away with $30 million and not have to throw a punch.
It's just a simple fact of disrespect.
So you see Logan Paul and he's jump roping and he's doing little friggin' double dutching or whatever. And then there's Floyd Mayweather friggin' going like 100 miles an hour. And then you see them sparring, like hitting a heavy bag, and Logan Paul's just like this, and then there's Mayweather cracking it like it is Logan Paul.
Dude, he's gonna.
And I can't stand these Paul brothers. I can't. And people could say I hate on them, and yeah, I do. And for the pure fact that you're YouTube stars thinking you could box. I'll give Jake Paul a little bit of credit. He could throw hands a little bit. Your brother's a bitch, on the other hand. Okay? And Jake Paul now has signed on to fight Tyron Woodley.
Good job, buddy. You're going to get your ass beat.
Now,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
But see, my issue is this with this whole Triller thing. You have boxers fighting guys that aren't boxers. Like, have Jake Paul... Jake Paul... It's funny, because speaking of Jake Paul, Tyson Fury, DM'd Jake Paul and said, why don't you box me? And he goes, no.
He's scared. He's a pussy.
Because Tyson Fury, who's built, who has a dad bod, and
30 seconds,
and literally would kill him.
Over.
Jake Paul don't want to fight him. Okay.
Jake Paul thinks he can beat Floyd Mayweather because of his height and reach. That's what he thinks, but he doesn't understand that. That's
Okay. Logan Paul is getting laid out tonight. That's it. He's getting laid out, and I wouldn't even waste money on the pay-per-view because it's going to happen so fast.
I just want to see it.
Jake Paul thinks that he's tough because he boxed Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is 5'0" and plays basketball. He's not a boxer. Okay, that's one. You then fought Ben Askren, who's built like bastard from friggin' Sin City, the guy with the yellow, bleeds yellow and everything like that. Nick Stahl is the actor who plays him, right? That's how Askren's built. And that was a dive. I don't care what any of you say.
And then
you took the dive for the payday.
And then you call out Floyd Money Mayweather, 50 and 51 and 0 after you fought, what's his name?
Okay.
What?
Here's an idea, Paul brothers, right? Just food for thought. You want to be boxers? Fight Anthony Joshua. Fight Deontay Wilder.
No, Deontay Wilder beat the brakes off him too.
Fight Tyson Fury.
He beat the brakes off him too.
Why don't you box Pacquiao?
Pacquiao win too. Even at his age.
Fight Canelo. Box Canelo. Because guess what happened? Canelo will come in the ring, say hello, and then down you go.
Hey, Mike Tyson, go fight Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson probably knock them both out at the same time. He'll hit Jake Paul so hard Logan Paul will fall down. Okay, I can't stand out. I can't stand that whole thing. And
funny.
You sit there and you chirp.
They took a lot of shit too.
And Jake Paul thinks he's funny because he's like, "Oh, I grabbed your hat at the press conference thing," and then he got a tattoo of it.
That is
Talk about somebody's parents who not only fucked up once but twice and created two jerk-offs. What was your father thinking?
You know how disrespectful that shit was to Floyd Mayweather taking his hat off like that?
Yeah, but you want to know what's funny though? Jake Paul got knocked because the bodyguard cracked him good. He had a black eye and the whole nine. And I'm telling you right now, and that's just a taste of what would happen if you got in the ring with Mayweather. I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan by any stretch of the imagination because I don't think he's ever fought. I don't think he's ever boxed anybody that, you know, that was like top tier. For him to be the name he is, but you can't take away the fact he's got one of the fastest hands in the sport of boxing. You can't take away the fact that he's got one of the best cardio games in boxing, and the fact that he went up against Conor McGregor in boxing. You would have thought he would have beat McGregor like that, and he didn't. I mean, he put McGregor on his ass once or twice, but McGregor stood tall with him. You know what, Jake Paul?
Go fight him.
Go fight Conor McGregor. See what happens. Oh, wait, hold on, because Jake Paul won't get in the octagon, but Logan Paul said he would.
So what? They get
that's a death sentence. That's a death sentence. and Jake Paul can't even be ringside when he fights Floyd Mayweather because they know how bad, because they know what's going to happen.
What, he's going to try to jump in the fucking ring?
Yeah, like it's WWE.
Yo, that'd be hilarious if Mayweather turned around, knocks him the fuck out too. Yeah, both Pauls laying out. Boom.
Like, and then Jake Paul fighting Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley's not a boxer, but he can box.
Hey, man.
Okay?
That one piece off the chin to Rob...
Lawler?
Yup. He barely tapped him, bro, and he was out.
I just don't see how these Paul brothers think that they're actual boxers. Okay, I get you take the time to craft, you know, to hone your sport, to hone your craft. I get all that. Okay, and I'll give you credit for that.
This is the wrong way to get your name out, though.
But the reason why you hate it on so much is because you two just run your mouths and you think you're untouchable. Well, guess what, Logan Paul? Tonight, you're going to get touched because you better give your soul to the Lord because your ass belongs to Floyd Mayweather tonight.
Ooh. Okay.
And Jake Paul, same thing. Tyrone Woodley is going to friggin' own you. And not in that term. I'm just saying. Okay? For all those who think, okay? No. He's going to own him. He's going to beat the piss out of him. And then what's going to happen after that? I think they're both going to be humbled a bit. And I think the mouth running stops. Yeah.
I don't think the mouth running stops. I don't know.
I think one of them will stop, and I think it'll be Logan Paul after tonight.
It'll stop. He'll run his mouth to somebody else, though.
No, I think one from Mayweather on the jaw is going to do it.
No, I'll probably call that luck. He'll make up some excuse. You got to think about it.
I think Jake Paul will make up something. I don't think his brother. I think Logan Paul will just admit defeat. But I'm telling you now, if Logan Paul somehow manages to beat Floyd Mayweather,
which he's not,
then I'm telling you that Triller shit's rigged.
It's definitely rigged.
It's rigged then, and I wouldn't spend any money on it. I'd rather just watch it for free.
I don't think Floyd Mayweather would actually take that loss. That'd be his only fucking loss.
Well, I wouldn't count it as a loss. It's not a real friggin' boxing fight. It's not like it's not like it's for a title. It's not like it's a marquee matchup.
But still,
it's a YouTube sensation
in his head.
versus
in
a
his
boxer.
head, in his head, he'll be 51-1.
And to really think that they think they could beat a Floyd Mayweather, a Tyron Woodley. What? What kind of drugs are there in California that I don't know about? Because I need some of that shit to live in fantasy land.
I want to know why I said no to, what's the name, Tyson Fury.
Because he's scared.
Exactly.
And speaking of Tyson Fury, he's boxing because now he was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua, but there was also a contractual obligation from Deontay Wilder, from Wilder Fury 1
yep.
to 2, that there has to be a third fight now because it's 1-1.
Dude, that shit, that's some scary too. Scary
And Tyson Fury, I'll tell you something, he does some weird shit in that ring. He'll like lick the back of your neck. He'll do some weird freaky ass.
I might have missed some.
There was what, like he was literally like doing like he was like this, like on Wilder's neck, like catching the sweat on his tongue. He's like freaking like almost like as if he was licking on a clit. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But you know what though? He could throw them hands.
Damn right he could.
And Deontay Wilder made up the excuse of his costume he wore to the ring. Took his cardio. First off, who the fuck told you to walk down to the ring
with a costume on?
Freaking dressed up like a freaking blinged out Skeletor? I didn't tell you to do that shit. If your management told you to do that, just come down to the ring in your boxing shorts and your gloves on. Why? I don't understand it.
Wilder Fury, man. I honestly think
I think Fury wins that one again. I think Fury takes the. I think he takes the series there. I think he does.
I might go the other way. Depends. It depends.
And then he's got to fight. And then now I don't think the turnaround time is that long before he's got to fight Anthony Joshua.
So you better hope that shit don't go too long.
Man, he better finish him in 1 or 2. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. But
well, they can actually move the Anthony Joshua fight if need be. They could move it a little further up if they had to.
Well,
down the line.
They're gonna have to. That shit ain't gonna. That's probably gonna go all 12. Somebody gonna get knocked out.
But all I know is the Yankees better win tonight. Somebody tweeted out, "What do you want to see from the Yankees tonight?" I said,
anything.
I said, how about an accurate strike zone? How about no base running blunders? How about some hits? How about some decent pitching? How about something? How about a sign of life? Okay. How about Stanton not striking out 4 times? How about Sanchez? And speaking of Sanchez, because I went back and I listened to one of the previous podcasts that we did. Right, and I think it was like from back in February before the season even started, and how he talking about how Hichikawa would never be the starter on this team, and how it's
turning,
how it turned around.
It's turning.
Gotta give props to Hichikawa. He pretty much took it. Sanchez pretty much played himself right out of the starting lineup, and he pretty much played Kyle Hichikawa right into it.
Yeah, I don't think Hichikawa had to do a damn thing. Really.
Well, no, all Hichikawa did when he got the opportunities was he hit.
Yep, he capitalized. He did what he had to do.
And a lot of people, and I'm not going to say I started this, but a lot of people are saying, because people be like, who do you think the Yankees need to give a shot to maybe create a spark? And I'm going to say Tyler Wade. And a lot of people are starting to get on that train because now when they go and they watch him coming in a pinch hit situation, he gets on base, he's stealing bases. He's pretty much a junior version of DJ LeMahieu because he could play second, he could play short, he could play third, he could play the outfield. I wouldn't trust him so much at first. I've never seen him play first. But he could pretty much play all the key positions. Okay? So why not give this kid a starting shot?
I'll put him at short and put Gleyber at second.
Odor at second now is becoming a liability. Instead of against the Rays, instead of just throwing it to first base, he's trying to do some
shit.
Derek Jeter Wizard of Oz shit,
Derek Jeter.
Okay, and throws the ball in the left field. Okay.
God damn, man.
And Gleyber Torres isn't the answer at shortstop. Now there was, talking about how Trevor Story's going to be on the trade block, but the Yankees shouldn't get him because he's owed a lot of money, then he's a free agent. And that there's the shortstop in Arizona who's going to be financially more, it makes more financial sense because not only, I think he's under contract for like another 3 years and he only gets paid X amount per year for the next 3 years, and he's just as talented. So if you really want to make this move of Gleyber to second, then trade for the shortstop in Arizona. But me knowing the Yankees, the way the Yankees operate, they'll go and they'll get the bigger name because it'll create more fan attraction.
More revenue, more this, more that.
Okay? And what they need to realize is not always having the biggest names on the team doesn't create championships all the time. In the 90s, yeah, it did. Because that was a different era of baseball. This is a different era of baseball. And these teams are showing you that even in a small market, they can win. That they can win with what they have.
Like,
look at the Rays. Even though they don't have a World Series, every time they trade a piece off and they get draft picks and they get minor leaguers back, those guys that they just got from the minor leagues are starters in the majors, and they're playing better than people on the Yankees.
But look at Francisco Lindor on the Mets. He's not doing shit. He
Just took $385 million and burnt it.
That's what happened. You have the most expensive name out there. Doesn't really.
I mean, don't get for Cohen to show the fan base that he was serious about improving this team. That was the move he had to make. So you can't blame Cohen for that. What you have to do is just simply realize this: if you're a knowledgeable Met fan,
he can't play on the.
You have to realize this: maybe New York isn't the area for him because of that pressure. Just like New York is not the market for Giancarlo Stanton.
At all,
just
bro.
like the market for Zach Greinke, even though Yankees fans wanted Greinke, Mets fans wanted Greinke, he didn't want to come here because he can't handle the mental pressures of it, and he knows it, and it takes a lot to admit that. So the Yankees never traded for Greinke. The Mets never made an offer for Greinke, and they never will. That's why Greinke will be in Houston forever, and that's why that's why he's always played for teams like the Royals.
That never go anywhere.
That's why he played for. That's why he pitched for God knows how many other teams. But he can't handle the pressure, so he admitted it. And Stanton can't handle it either. Stanton was able to handle the pressures in Florida because it's Florida.
Yeah, I think he hit into the most double plays this year as a 45 so far. It's not, dude.
You're paying the guy over the course of the next however many years $200+ million, and he's playing like a $3 friggin' baseball player.
Striking out, hitting those rocks, fucking ground balls.
There's guys on the Long Island Ducks that hit better than friggin' Stanton right now.
That's serious. There is.
You know put this New York Yankee team. Let them play in Central Islip. Take the Ducks and put them in the Bronx, and watch the Yankees friggin' watch the Ducks players as Yankees win more games than this Yankee team.
Yeah,
right
I was just watching a female softball game up in there, yo. Them ladies can hit.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm serious.
You see the one with the girl who friggin' robbed the home run that fell over the friggin' fence?
Yeah, yep. And another girl pitched a perfect game. Nasty with it, bro.
Yeah.
When you get them up in here.
But as it winds down though, and it's getting hot, I'm starting to sweat my friggin' cojones off.
Yeah.
Again, you know, we just like to show our appreciation for everybody who watches and listens, comments, everybody on Twitter who retweets when I post all the links and everything like that, everybody on Facebook who, you know, all the Facebook groups I'm in that, you know, comment or, you know, whatever, you know, it goes appreciated. And enjoy your night of basketball, hockey, baseball, and
on the fans, keep your head up, buddy. We got this today, baby.
And you know, till the next one, stay safe. Mask up. You already know what to do.
Peace.